Have you heard of the word EKIBEN? EKIBEN refers to the bento boxes that are sold to passengers at railway stations in Japan. Normally, you don't eat on a regular train, but on a Shinkansen, there are tables, so people do eat bento boxes. In Japan, each region has its own famous EKIBEN, so today I'll teach you how to recreate EKIBEN from East, West, North, and South Japan at home. First up is the EKIBEN from the North. The Tohoku region. I'll introduce the Nori sold at Koriyama Station in Fukushima Prefecture. As the name suggests, Nori is a bento box with nori on top. While the nori is important, Okaka, the seasoned dried bonito flakes that you put on top of a rice before the nori, is also important. First, let's make the Okaka. Before turning on the heat, mix water, mirin, soy sauce, and sugar well in a fry pan. Turn on the heat and bring to a light boil. Once it has boiled, immediately add the dried bonito flakes. Fry over low heat until the moisture has completely evaporated. By the way, it seems that this Nori has even won the grand prize in the East Japan EKIBEN Championship. While EKIBEN nationwide are often quite luxurious, using seafood or meat as the main dish, this bento, which may seem a bit plain at first glance, is surprisingly delicious and has been loved by Japanese people for a long time. After cooking down a little, add sesame seeds to taste. Once the soy sauce has solidified a little bit in the corner of the frying pan, immediately turn off the heat and transfer to a dish. This okaka is very popular as an ingredient for onigiri. It goes perfectly with rice. Next, let's make a side dish using Gobo, Burdock root. This is a very simple dish where you simply simmer the Gobo to flavor it. Some people may stir fry it, but I think simmering it like this breaks down the tough fiber of the Gobo quite a bit and makes it easier to digest. Cut the Gobo into small sticks and put it in the pot. Add water, sake, soy sauce, and mirin. Just stir occasionally and simmer without a lid until tender. A simple but delicious dish. Next, let's make a simmered dish with potatoes and carrots. This is traditionally made with a type of yam called ebimo, but I couldn't find any, so I'll make it with potatoes instead. Cut the potatoes and carrot into bite-sized pieces. And prepare some green beans for color. Lightly fry the potatoes and carrots first. I added some sesame oil for flavor. After quick stir fry, add water, dashi powder, soy sauce, and sugar, and mix well. Cover and simmer until tender. Stir occasionally. When the potatoes are almost tender and close to being done, add the green beans and simmer for about 2 minutes. Then turn off the heat, let it sit for a while to cool slightly, and let the flavor soak in. It seems that salmon is also essential for this Nori. Just pour sake over it and grill both sides. Speaking of Japanese bento boxes, you can't forget tamagoyaki. Whether to add sugar, salt, or both, or even soy sauce to the eggs depends on the family. By the way, it seems that Fukumameya, the company that makes this nori-ben, says they wanted to make the nori-ben that their busy mothers made with love when they were children into a station bento. Cook the salmon for about 4 minutes over low heat. Then flip it over and cook for another 4 minutes. It seems that this nori-ben comes with kamaboko, so I'll use chikuwa instead. I think they taste almost the same. Cut the tamagoyaki and slice the pickled turnip. They are cute and pink. The salmon is nicely cooked. Cut the nori seaweed to make it look like the real thing. Spread the okaka over the rice, and then place the seaweed on top. It seems umeboshi are also essential. I've made nori-ben before, but it's rare to have umeboshi with it. My husband loved this combination and said it was delicious. Packing all the side dishes we've made. It was quite difficult to pack them neatly. I managed to recreate the Koriyama station nori-ben quite nicely. Next up, let's move on to the east and introduce the Sanzoku Yaki Bento, sold at Kobuchisawa station in Yamanashi Prefecture. Sanzoku means bandit, and Yaki means grill. The name is quite interesting, but I'll explain the origin of the name later. Today's main dish is chicken, but before that, let's make some side dishes. Cut the green beans and boil them. Boil for about 2 minutes and drain well. Sprinkle with sesame seeds and season with mentoi and salt. If you don't have mentoi, use dashi powder, soy sauce, sugar, or mirin to taste. Now let's make the main dish, Sanzoku Yaki. Sanzoku Yaki is a chicken dish similar to karaage, but it has been around in Yamanashi and Nagano Prefecture in Japan for a long time. The marinade is made with soy sauce, sake, mirin, a lot of ginger, and garlic. Mix it well and let it marinate in the refrigerator for about 20 minutes. It's convenient to prepare the day before you make the bento. Coat the marinated chicken well with potato starch and deep fry it in oil. This dish is called Sanzoku Yaki because it originated at a pub called Sanzoku in Nagano Prefecture. It was created sometime before or after World War II by the grandfather and grandmother of the owner of the predecessor, Matsumoto Shokudo. It seems that the name comes from the fact that the dish was served with bone-in meat and the grandfather's appearance resembled a mountain bandit. It would be more impressive and interesting to make it with bone-in meat, wouldn't it? Fry both sides for about 3 minutes until they are nicely browned. As with the previous nori-ben, I also made tamagoyaki. Cut the Sanzoku Yaki into bite-sized pieces and place it on top of the rice. It seems that it's often served with shredded cabbage, but I skipped that today. Pack the tamagoyaki and green beans into the bento box. And finally, add shredded pickles to complete the dish. Next, let's move on to the south and introduce the Toruko rice bento, sold at Nagasaki Station in Nagasaki Prefecture. First, let's boil the spaghetti. Toruko rice is a local dish of Nagasaki Prefecture, mainly created on Nagasaki City. It's a Western-style dish with a variety of side dishes served on one plate. It's basically a dish of tonkatsu, pilaf, and spaghetti. Pilaf is said to have been originally a dry curry as the main ingredient, or sometimes it's simply fried rice. My husband loves Toruko rice and we often make it at home, but I always make it with ketchup flavored rice. Today I'm going to challenge myself to make it with a curry flavor. First, let's chop the vegetable that will be the base for the curry pilaf. Mince the onion and chop the carrots into very small cubes. Mince the ham or sausage. Once the spaghetti is cooked, drain it well and season it. Some restaurants may also add a little bit of ingredients, but I simply season the spaghetti with ketchup. My husband loves it when I make it without any ingredients. Add ketchup, consomme, sugar, soy sauce, and sake to the saucepan. Mix it well and turn on the heat, stirring constantly. If it doesn't seem like enough, add a little more ketchup, and finally add a little butter. Mix it well. I've made a nice simple spaghetti. Heat some oil in a fry pan and fry the onion and carrot. Once they are somewhat softened, add the ham. It's not necessary, but it's delicious to add corn if you have it. Fry lightly, then turn off the heat for now. Add curry powder, sugar, Worcestershire sauce, and sake to the pan and turn on the heat, stirring constantly. Water can be used instead of sake. Fry until the moisture has evaporated. By the way, this Toruko rice does not exist in Turkey. It's a completely Japanese dish. I looked up why it's called Toruko rice, Turkey rice. According to one theory, spaghetti is seen as representing Italy, pilaf or fried rice as representing China, and tonkatsu as representing Turkey, which is located between the two. And thus, Turkey rice was named after Turkey, which is a bridge between the East and the West. Now let's make the tonkatsu. I'll use the familiar pork fillet that has been a staple on this channel lately. Pork loin is generally recommended. Season both sides with salt and pepper. The meat weight about 200 grams. 3 tablespoons of flour and 3 tablespoons of water made a good amount of butter. I think it will be easier for the panko to adhere if you dust the meat with flour before dipping it in the butter. Once you have coated it well with panko, all you have to do is fry it in oil. Once the rice is cooked, mix the stir fry made earlier with curry flavor into the rice. The mainstream method is to fry the rice in a fry pan to give it a curry flavor, but I think this method is easier to make without the rice sticking to the fry pan. This completes the rice. Let's fry the tonkatsu in oil. Fry each side for about 3 minutes until it's golden brown. In a previous video on this channel, I made a demi-glace sauce for the tonkatsu from scratch. So if you have some time, please check it out. Since making the sauce takes time, today I'll use this store-bought demi-glace sauce. This sauce is quite popular in Japan for use on hamburger sticks and so on. Tonkatsu sauce is also delicious on tonkatsu, but topping it with demi-glace sauce gets you closer to the authentic turkey rice. My husband insists that demi-glace sauce is a must when making this dish. Pack the curry pilaf into the bento box and put in the spaghetti as well. Cut the tonkatsu into bite-sized pieces and place it on top of the rice. To add a touch of color reminiscent of the authentic bento boxes, I added green peas. Finally, top it with demi-glace sauce and it's done. Finally, let's move on to the west and introduce the Uzumasa Rokeben, which can be bought at Kyoto Station. Rokeben translates to Location Crust Service Lunchbox in English. This Uzumasa Rokeben is said to be a bento box that actors often ate at the movie studio of Toei, a famous Japanese movie production and distribution company. First, let's soak the dried hijiki in water to make hijiki nimono. I'll make this chicken karaage simple. Cut the chicken into bite-sized pieces. Add garlic, ginger, sake, and soy sauce, and mix well. While I make other dishes, I let the flavor soak in. First, slice a small amount of carrot thinly for hijiki nimono. The rest will be used for another simmered dish. I think this way of cutting makes it look nice. Cut the daikon into small pieces as well. This aburage will go into hijiki nimono. In addition to hijiki, I'll also make another simmered dish with gammodoki as the main ingredient. Aburage is made by dehydrating firm tofu and frying it in high-temperature oil. Gammodoki is made by crumbling firm tofu and draining it, adding grated yam for binding and ingredient such as carrot, dried shiitake mushrooms, and sesame seeds, and then frying. These absorb a lot of broth when simmered and are very delicious. I'll also add konjac today. I'll make it into a cute shape. Cut a small square. Make a slit in the middle and wrap the corner through the hole. Konjac has a unique smell, so to mellow it out, boil it separately in a pot for about 2 minutes. Put the daikon, carrots, and boiled konjac in a deep pot. Add water, sake, and mirin, and simmer for a while. Once the daikon is slightly softened, add soy sauce, salt, sugar, and dashi powder. Add the gambodoki and mix well. Then simmer some more. After soaking the hijiki in water for about 20 minutes, it will look like this. Drain well and stir fry. Before stir frying the hijiki, stir fry the carrots in sesame oil. Once they are slightly softened, add the hijiki and a little more sesame oil and stir fry. Hijiki is a seaweed, so it may smell a little at first, but by stir frying it in sesame oil like this, the smell will disappear and it will be really delicious. Let's get back to the talking about the bento box for a moment. The movie studio I mentioned earlier in Kyoto is said to have a theme park area that is also popular with tourists. It seems that this bento box was loved by actors and was difficult to make because it was packed with a lot of side dishes to satisfy their whims. After stir frying the hijiki for about 3 minutes, turn off the heat for now and season it. Add the sake, mirin, soy sauce, sugar, and dashi powder. If you keep the heat on, the seasonings will evaporate quickly, so add the burdock and mix well before turning on the heat. Finally, add any boiled beans you like, no matter what they are. Mix well so that all the ingredients are well seasoned. The flavors will soak in nicely while it cools. I tasted this simmered dish and found it a bit bland, so I added some soy sauce. I saw this kind of petal-shaped gluten cakes in an authentic bento box, so I decided to use it since I had some at home. Soak it in water to soften it. It's a bit bland on its own, so I soak it in soup to add some flavor. The chicken has been marinated, so I'll add the cording and fry it. I usually use potato starch, but I'll try using mochiko today. It has a different texture than potato starch and is delicious with a crispy crust. You can also mix mochiko and potato starch to make the cording. I'm still experimenting with the best combination, so I'll let you know if I find it. Some people make karaage using wheat flour. What kind of cording do you like best? Lastly, I'll grill some saba, which may not be familiar to people from overseas. This saba is seasoned with salt and kombu. I bought it at the supermarket. It has a mild saltiness and goes very well with rice. I grill it for 4 minutes on each side, just like I did with the salmon. Pouring sake over it before grilling helps to remove any fishy smell and makes the fish flesh plump and delicious. The skin is crispy and browned nicely, making it look very appetizing. I also made tamagoyaki. It seems that this bento was developed at the request of a famous actor who often appeared in movies in the past. It's a luxurious bento with a variety of side dishes in small portions, including both meat and fish. Finally, I add Rikake, Japanese dry seasoning, pickles, and the pink flower-shaped wooden cake, and it's done. I hope you enjoyed this recreation of the bento boxes from the east, west, north, and south of Japan. I had a lot of fun making them, and I think they turned out quite well. Which one would you like to try? Thank you so much for watching our video. Please subscribe to our channel. If you are already a subscriber and would like to support our channel, please join our membership. Membership feedback will be reflected in content creation. See you in the next video.